Hello and welcome to the More Cheese Less Whiskers podcast. My name is Dean Jackson, and today we've got a great episode. We have Peter Van Stratton, and Peter is a exterior cleaner in Vancouver, Canada. And he has a really cool opportunity in that he's been using a lot of the marketing things that we talk about, a lot of the ideas of using direct response and thinking about a before unit to generate new business. He's been using some direct mail strategies and using compelling offers to get somebody to start a relationship with him. So he's kind of figured out something that a lot of exterior cleaners have not figured out. And we had a great opportunity to talk about how to take that knowledge that he has, how to leverage that and maybe introduce it to other exterior cleaners, or how to really take that information and create a new opportunity for him to be the before unit for other exterior cleaners, or maybe even create a whole franchise around it. So this is a great episode that's going to be appealing to you if you've figured out something in your business and you've ever wondered, I wonder if I could, or how I could license this or package this or sell this to other people in my same industry. It's something I call syndication. It's been one of my biggest winning formula. Package something up. Everything that I've done in the real estate world has followed that model. I started out as a real estate agent, packaged up the things that I was doing to generate new business, and started licensing it and teaching it to other real estate agents. It's the same model that Joe Polish used as a carpet cleaner, figuring out marketing for his carpet cleaning business, packaging it up and teaching it to other carpet cleaners. So it's a winning formula. And if you've got a business that there are lots of other people all over North America or all over the world in the same business, you may have that same opportunity. So if you've ever thought that thought, you're going to particularly enjoy this episode. Peter.
Hey, Dean. How's it going?
So good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Well, I'm excited to hatch some evil schemes with you today.
Super excited.
So, why don't you tell me a little bit about what you're up to and what kind of evil schemes we can hatch today?
Sure. Basically, I've got a cleaning business, so I do like power washing, gutter cleaning, house washing, stuff like that. And I've developed some pretty good, I guess in your words, vending machines.
I like that.
Yeah. But the problem is I've kind of hit a ceiling with it where I can only do so much work myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'd like to be able to mail out more and kind of scale them up. But just going about that, I'm struggling with a bit.
Okay.
So I'm kind of figuring out like how to license them or leverage them, because I don't really want to have more employees. I more want to have like either subcontractors or an opportunity, like a business opportunity or something like that.
Right. Or people who are just using your method, I mean, how big of a, is it different? Would you say that one business would do all of the things that you do, or would it be different businesses?
Like industry-wise, or
yeah, like are you saying like would it be one person who could? So let's just list the things that you do. So you do the pressure washing and gutter cleaning, and that would basically be in a typical situation, like here in Winter Haven, where I am. Would I be looking at different entries in the yellow pages, or would the same person basically do? These things?
Kind of a common umbrella, I guess, is pressure washing, gutter cleaning, window washing, house washing, and then some people do roofs, like roof moss or roof cleaning.
Okay, great. So that's great. I'm familiar with all of those, and I actually need to get my building pressure washed. I've got a stucco office building, and I need to get that pressure washed. So that's what I just was pulling into my building the other day and thought, okay, that's getting a little. I need a little pressure washing there. So that would be one guy, same guy who would maybe while he's there do my gutters and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. So there's lots of these people. I mean, they're everywhere, right? Everywhere in North America, for sure.
Yeah.
Every town would have multiple of those people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is my favorite thing here. Is like this is very similar to my past. You know, I started out as a real estate agent in Toronto, just outside of Toronto in Halton Hills, and I started out, selling real estate, applying marketing to my own business, and when I read the E-Myth by Michael Gerber, I got on a really deep level the understanding of this duplicatable model, of creating something that could be duplicated 5,000 times. Have you read that book yet, by the way?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Okay, so you know what it's talking about. So you're basically, it changes the way you think about it. You start to now look at your business as the franchise prototype. And the reality is, in your business, you're the guy who's actually doing the pressure washing, doing all of that stuff, right? So you reach what Michael Gerber calls a ceiling of complexity, that you're limited by your available hours to be out pressure washing and doing gutters and all of the during unit stuff of that business.
Yep.
But you've figured out the most important thing, and that's how to get people to let you come and do their gutters and do their pressure washing. Because there's a lot more people who do what you do who are sitting at home or looking, waiting for somebody to call them to come and do the pressure, to do the pressure washing. So talk to me about what you figured out and kind of how that journey went. How did you come to that? Yeah. Well, how did you figure out what you figured out?
Well, when I first started, it was like I tried knocking on doors. I didn't get very far from there. And then I was like, oh, I don't like this very much. I'll try a flyer, not knowing any marketing at this time. So then I tried a flyer, and that didn't work at all. So luckily, my dad kind of has a bit of experience with direct mail and stuff. So he kind of turned me on to like Dan Kennedy, like a bunch of stuff like that. So then I went back, kind of changed it, and then sent it out, started getting results, people calling me from it. And I said, oh, this is pretty awesome.
Oh, I know.
So then now I kind of have a strategy where I go neighborhood by neighborhood. Yeah. Similar to like what you do with real estate, how you target neighborhoods. I do that where usually if I'm brand new in a neighborhood, I'll do like kind of let's say a launch event or a neighborhood event for like a few days to get my initial batch.
Sure.
And then I'll keep like mining that neighborhood where after that job I'll get a testimonial before and after.
Oh yes, I love it.
And then I'll like go to the neighbors, and then I'll get referrals from there, and then it just kind of snowballs. So yeah, I mean, it's just, that's kind of what I do. And what I think is powerful about it is that you get such density in the neighborhoods.
Right. Yeah. Like it's so funny. With the real estate agents, I have something that I calculate with them called their listing multiplier index. And that means that with every listing that they get, how many additional transactions do they get because of that? Most of them are just focused on, let's list the property and put it on the MLS and somebody will sell it and all my listings sell in, 10 days or whatever. But they miss out on the opportunity to find the buyer who's going to buy that house, or to find a buyer who buys another house, or to get the next listing in the neighborhood, and to get a referral from the seller. So you're in that. I love to hear that you're focused on kind of those strategies, that every time you get a client, that you start to look and see, okay, I've got an opportunity to get one of the neighbors or some of the neighbors to get the referral from the client to leverage this. How when you look at a new client, how much extra business are you typically able to generate using your method there?
I don't have it in like an index form where like it's 1.1.5 or something.
Right. Yeah.
But
so what I do, this is an interesting thing, and I'll explain this because I think that for anybody, and the reason I was excited about doing this call with you is that there are a lot of people who are probably in a situation just like you, where they've figured something out and they hear me talk about licensing things and syndicating things and creating turnkey systems for people. And they wonder, well, how do I go from there, from here to there kind of thing. And so having some standardized things, like if I were to say to you, let's look at your last 10 clients, and we say, okay, of those last 10, let's just think about those and look back and see how many extra jobs did you get from this, or what are the possibilities? Like certainly very similar to the realtors, in that you're in a location-based situation, right? You've chosen a neighborhood, you select your target market of the kinds of homes that are your ideal client. You send your flyer initially, and people respond, and you've got a new client now. Now, when you go in there, there's the opportunity to, even if we just take the opportunity to get some of the neighbors, or to get a referral or two from the client, that could potentially be 5 transactions that you could get. If we say you got the original job, and 2 neighbors and 2 referrals would be not out of the realm of possibility. Would you say that that's something that if you were focused on it, that would be reasonable?
Yeah, I'd say it's especially, I feel like neighbors are even easier than referrals in some ways.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I could definitely see that. Like when you're kind of saying my last 10, for example.
Well, here's the thing, and I'll go through this with you, because you'll be able to have this conversation with other pressure washers, or other. What's the category? Like, what would you call you? What would be how would you that category refer to themselves? Or would they say home maintenance? Would they say home services?
Typically, exterior cleaning, like home services.
Exterior cleaning.
Yeah, exterior cleaning is kind of the umbrella.
There we go. So exterior cleaners, if we take them as a category here, that they would have the same experience that you do, and the same opportunities that you do, in that they are working with people who have a home in a neighborhood, and that they're surrounded by other homes, and the client has relationships as well, right? So there's those opportunities to get referrals and to get the neighbors. Now, most of the time, exterior cleaners would go in, clean do the job, and then leave and wait for the next call or go on to their next job, and not proactively do something to multiply that one job.
Right.
You know? So if you ask them, if you sat down with them and you said, let's look at your last 10 jobs, your last 10 clients, last 10 homes that you brought on, and think back, how many of the neighbors did you get, and how many referrals did you get from those? And most of them will look at you kind of blankly, and maybe serendipitously somebody saw their truck in front of the house and saw them doing the pressure washing, and maybe walked up to them and said, hey, can you come and give me an estimate for my house? That probably just happened serendipitously without any real strategy around it, you know?
Yep.
So you may find that they will say, okay, so out of the last 10, I got 2 additional jobs, or maybe I got 5 additional jobs out of that. That 50% of the time I maybe get a neighbor that happens that way. So if we set a benchmark of saying that our aspiration is to turn 1 job into 5 jobs, that's like that's our stretch goal here, right? And again, it's pretty reasonable to think that that's possible. And then we'll use that as the benchmark and say, if we look at your last 10, and there was a possibility to get 50 from that last 10, and you got 12, that's a big gap, right? There's a big delta there. And so you look at it and say, what's a average ticket for a job that you do for somebody?
So if the person if the service has multiple services, like not just pressure washing, my average ticket is about $275.
Okay. So let's call it $250 to be conservative on that, right? That would be reasonable to say that? Okay. So if somebody has 10 jobs, the baseline of that is going to be $2,500, right? So you see where I'm going with that? Now, all the additional things, the 4 extra jobs that we're looking, if our aspiration is, there's an extra $1,000 per job that's potentially there for us. So if we take it that out of 50 jobs, there's a potential of 37.5. Is that what 250 times 50 is? Yeah. Let me get my calculator here, because this is where it'll come up.
250 times 50
times 50 is 12,500. Yeah. Okay. So all those jobs could be worth 12,500, but if all they did was the initial job, they got the 2,500, but they lost $10,000 by not focusing on getting 2 additional jobs or 2 referrals from the client. And so when you show people that, it kind of lights a fire a little bit, right? Like you start to think, wow, I really am missing out on stuff. So that it sets everybody on the same path. And so the way I get that index for it is to take your average. If you say on average, over the last 10, I got 5 additional jobs. I got, 3 neighbors and 2 referrals out of the last 10 that I worked with. That brings you a total of 15 out of the last 10. and we divide that by 10 to get 1.5. So that's how we would come up with that. Now, if your average, if your, client multiplier index is 3, that means that every new client you bring in is worth $750 instead of $250. So you're creating a basis for the conversation here with people. You've got a way to show them how to multiply every job that they're already doing, which is going to help people, especially when you're in a situation that a lot of times they might not look at investing money in marketing as as an opportunity for them when you're talking to going to other exterior cleaners, right? So this is a way to kind of start that relationship with them to help multiply what they're already doing, and framing it in a way that they're losing money right now because they're not doing it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Tell me about the flyer or the lead generation tool that you have. If you were picking an area of 1,000 homes, or how would you choose the ideal area or neighborhood for you? Okay.
Well, it kind of depends on what stage you're at. So for me now, because I've got so many kind of regular clients, that it changes just what I do a bit. So I do a bit more of a blanket mailer rather than really targeting. But when I'm starting out, like if I'm brand new to a neighborhood, I probably would do like a free driveway promotion where like I would have a neighborhood event where I'd say like next week on blah, 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 I'm going to be coming through the neighborhood doing free driveways. Just respond to the letter. So that's one thing I do. I've also got, so a step up from that is that I charge $69. So a $69 special for a driveway, which gets less response, but depending on the,
it's very interesting when you look at it that there's a really good way to think about this. So what's your cost on doing somebody's driveway?
Hard cost is probably like let's say less than $10.
Okay, so let's call it $10. So that's the really, it's kind of like Joe Polish's free room of carpet cleaning,
that's what I modeled it off of.
Perfect. Okay, great. So that's the kind of thing. Now, what you've got with that is you've got a relationship now. You have a client relationship, right? When you've come and you've done something with somebody, you know who they are. You've got you've established a dialogue with them, and you've got a way for them to meet you, to see what you're like, and along with that, if you're doing all the right things, you're going to, turn that into, well, here's some of the other things that we can do, right? So your, how would that work for you when you go and do that? What other things are you kind of presenting to them?
Right. So the letter kind of frames it already in their head. So it goes like, this is a way to introduce my services to you. If you like the results, I'd be happy to measure out and give you a price on your like patios, your walkways, this and that, but only if you choose. So it's already in their head somewhat. So then, I do the driveway, and then it quite easily turns into, okay, how much to do the rest of the stuff. And then, I mean, it's pretty, especially if you give them like just the pressure washing and then sell them more pressure washing. that translates really easily versus like going pressure washing to gutters, let's say.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And there's so many things. I mean, when you look at, their exterior walls, their decks, their, all that stuff, lots of opportunity for pressure washing alone, right?
Right.
And, the good news is with a $10 hard cost on something like that, that sets the benchmark here, So one of the things that I always look at, and I don't know if you've heard the episode of I Love Marketing where I talk about this idea that what would you do if you only got paid when your client gets the result,
Yep.
And that's kind of what you're doing here is you're delivering a result to people, and they want that, they want the driveway done. Everybody, that's kind of I had forgotten about that, but I'm looking, at my driveway right now, and I'd love you to come by and do my driveway. And that would be a kind of a way. No, but that I just think about, I'm a pretty typical situation here, right? You would come and do my driveway, and now I own this office building that's going to need that, and I can already see that I need to get the gutters cleaned, and that's really, I would love to have the one go-to guy for that. And of course, your ongoing relationship with somebody, because you've got a client relationship with them now, is going to turn into some stuff on an annual basis. I mean, everybody's going to get their gutters and the windows and all the exterior maintenance stuff done.
Right.
Some of it on an annual basis, and you might not pressure clean every year, or do you? No, I don't. I don't.
For a lot of people, actually up here, like where I am, it's probably similar to Florida, but it's quite wet and everything is really green. So a lot of people do it every year, but every other year at least, like definitely I'd say over 60%, over 55% do at least something with me every year.
That's great. And that's your after unit. You've got a really great business model there. But part of the way I establish for people, you said something, and I want to maybe see if you have some numbers to back this up. You said that sometimes you do a $69 driveway cleaning versus a free driveway cleaning. And what have you noticed is the difference when you do that?
Well,
do you get less response at $69 than you do for free?
See, when I used to, so for the $69 flyers, I get them unaddressed ad mail, or
which is great. Canada's so great for that. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. So good. Or I'd get somebody to deliver it when I first started. But so that's really cheap. So when I do kind of more straight sales, my conversion's usually, let's say, 1 to 3%. Sometimes it's higher after after a month or two. But so if I'm mailing out, let's say conservatively 30 cents. So, I mean, let's just say it's $30 to acquire like a $275 job or something with all the up sales versus a free driveway. The problem is I haven't tried it with unaddressed ad mail. I've only done it with first class.
I gotcha.
So with first class, it's like $1, and then the lowest response rate I've got with a free driveway is 5%. So $1 at 5%, so it's $20. So it's cheaper to acquire, but then you don't have the initial sale.
Yeah, no, I get it. And there's the thing is really like, this is why my insight from that was that sometimes, most of the time, it's less expensive to get somebody the result than it is to convince them to give you money to get the result. And that's really that's a huge thing, when you start thinking about especially when you can bulk them all, you're doing a whole neighborhood and you can do a sweep through a neighborhood this Saturday or something, that's really a great way to start the ball rolling, and then when you get that client, now you've got all of these strategies to start multiplying them, So, is it a letter that you send, or a flyer, or a postcard, or how do you deliver
for the free driveway? The one that I've used is a 3-page letter, but it could be dropped as unaddressed ad mail too. I just haven't done it that way yet. But because you can drop anything in there. So yeah, it's just plain paper, printed.
Okay. And I bet we could do that as a postcard, even, the free one. Certainly you could do it as a postcard to get some response there. So I think that's a pretty cool situation. How do you have people respond? How do they respond to the offer?
Either they call, text, email, or
okay.
Typically, most people call.
Yeah.
Some people text. Like a few people email or opt in. But it's me. Most of the market is older. Like I find most of my customers are 55 plus.
Yep.
And most kind of just prefer to pick up the phone and call.
I like it. Okay. And then what kind of strategies do you use right now when you get a new client? So you get one, and you had said that's kind of your start, is to get into a neighborhood. And then what do you do to leverage that? What kind of proactive things are you doing then? So you've got a job. Somebody says, come on over. What, by the way, when you do the free one, what's your conversion to paying? That they, what percentage of people, once you do the driveway for them, will end up doing something else?
It's pretty.
Did you say it was
pretty
about
high?
Yeah.
It's over 90% in my experience.
Okay, yeah, great. And that's the thing. You're once somebody gets that going, there's so much other stuff. So I think it's really like important to realize that when you look at the lifetime value of starting a new client, that the $10 hard cost that you have in doing it for them is such a great investment in the long term,
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, the only worry I have a little, like even myself, I stray away from it a little bit just because it is hours, right? Like
I understand.
When you're thinking about the guy himself doing it, like it's definitely the best strategy, but for compliance, I think it is a little bit harder to get people into it.
Yeah, well, and there's numbers don't lie when you go through the same thing. Like I've been doing work with a franchise that does mosquito control, and it's the same situation. Where and in so many ways, the best way to get somebody started is with a free offer. And when you look at, I'm not saying that just because it's easier. I'm saying it because it's more profitable.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the thing where a lot of times all kinds of small businesses like that, they sell themselves short by letting their egos require that that people pay money first, right? They're treating people like they're not 5-star prospects until they prove that they are, versus treating them like they are 5-star prospects until they prove that they aren't, and that whole mindset is like they're thinking, well, I'm not going out and doing stuff for free, but they don't realize that it costs them more money to convince somebody to give them the $69 than it would cost them to do it for free and get the $275,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I don't think that, and it's all testing, it's all easy to kind of test from there. But let's say now you've got a new client. What kind of strategies do you deploy to leverage that? If we were to say,
okay.
What do you do now?
So the first thing to do, which is a little bit hard to do logistically, but if you're scheduled out, let's say 2 weeks in advance, you can send to like the neighbors right next to them and say, hey, on December 1st, I'm going to be doing your neighbor. I've got time still to do yours. So with that, you get pretty good response rate. It's a bit hard to execute, but that's kind of the first thing. Two is just signage, like by having either a take one or like a better sign than just your name.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Do you use the take one boxes? Do you use I call them info box flyers? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I got that, and then collecting a testimony or taking before and after pictures is a big thing. Mm-hmm. Testimonial after. So
do you get reviews?
Yeah, I mean, as with anything, you get a little bit lazy with it after you have a bunch, but I've even got ones that I send after the fact that get a pretty good response rate, like a little postcard that they fill in with a thank you card. And then from there, I take that and you can drop kind of letters while you're doing it at the like 2 beside, 3 across.
Yeah.
And then what's kind of nice is if you do the free driveway cleaning, it also lends itself a lot easier to the referrals, to the neighbors and everything.
Right.
Like it's a lot easier to refer a friend if you give them a free driveway, right? Rather than just giving them a card.
Exactly right. You see how it is? Now you're talking. That just leads itself to so many different things. Right.
For sure. Yeah. So then I have given like referral cards in the past, and also what I do is I just keep going back to that neighborhood and go, hey, I've just done 11 of your neighbors. Now I've done 20. Would you like, basically headlines just, would you like yours clean too? I just did your neighbors, blah, blah, blah. And then just the social proof, like my favorite example is I targeted a neighborhood of 90 homes. I did the free driveway. I ended up actually cleaning for 65 of them out of 90. And basically now about 45 of them are regular customers, have been customers every year for the past 3 years. So
and now you dominate. You dominate the neighborhood. I mean, that's really that's what it's all about. You've got your annuity in that neighborhood now. Why would anybody ever go to anybody else? Because now you're the guy.
And I just send out one letter a year, and then it reactivates them every year.
Oh, that's perfect. That's so great. So I think you're really on to something here. Now, where you, what you've got is now the opportunity to license this to other exterior cleaners. Have you done anything like that? Like, have you broken through to train other exterior cleaners to do the same thing?
I haven't yet. Okay. I've kind of I wrote an article on this one guy's site that got a fair bit of traction. So the only thing I have from that is guys emailing me and kind of taking what I shared on there. So like I have a few guys who just took what I said in that article and have got pretty good results. But no, I haven't like really worked with anyone one-on-one yet.
Right. Is there a way, is there anything that connects all of you? Like, is there an easy way to reach people like that? Like, are you a member of a association or some sort of, is there a trade publication, or how, do you all?
Well, there's forums. I mean, I'm not very active with any of that, but there's forums. There's, I think there's an annual event for like window cleaners and stuff. That's fairly big. You can obviously find them by just doing the manual labor of looking through Craigslist and looking through Yellow Pages and everything like that.
Yeah.
So you can find them for sure. It might take a while, but yeah.
And so, there's the kind of thing where, identifying those people, and, offering to teach them a way of getting new clients. Part of it, do you ever have people refer people to you, like, or are there sites that you're a part of as an exterior cleaner that you would pay a referral fee to, or pay a booking fee to, or somebody would say, hey, we want you to be our guy, and we take a whatever percent referral fee or a booking fee? Are there things like that?
Yeah, there's that, like Home Advisor, for example, and stuff. I've never done them just because I kind of have the system and stuff, and I like being able to pick neighborhoods rather than be driven all over the place. But yeah, they do exist. I don't know. I'm not sure how many people use them for like exterior cleaning,
right?
Specifically, but they do exist. Like I talked to one guy, like there's a new franchise that basically does what I do, and they're like under the 1-800-GOT-JUNK. And I talked to one of those guys the other day, and he said, what did he say? He said he'd pay less for leads, but he would pay, I think he said 20% for like a job that closed.
For a booking, yeah. And that's kind of an interesting thing, when you look at the way that goes. What kind of a franchise is it that he has?
Like what do they do, or what?
Yeah, well, he's a 1-800-GOT-JUNK franchise, you mean? Or
well, you know how 1-800-GOT-JUNK has their kind of other brands. So the one, it's called Shack and Shine, and they basically do what I do, but they're just a new franchise that they're kind of expanding with, I guess.
I gotcha. Yeah.
But like I see him out door knocking is like kind of how I ran into him. I was doing his job and he was knocking the neighborhood, and I didn't tell him my secrets yet, but I kind of go, okay, this could be an opportunity.
Is he the franchise or a franchisor?
He's the franchisee. One of the franchises.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, it's amazing. That's kind of an interesting thing that they don't have a way of getting that business,
Oh,
that
plus the postcards they drop are just like,
so bad, right? Yeah. Oh, that's kind of an interesting thing. So, two ways to go is that you're either in a situation where you can train people how to do what it is that you do and charge them a fee to teach them, or package it up as a one-time thing where you could, for whatever, some number, $2.99, $3.99, $7.99, some a one-time like package, a bundle of stuff, like the way that's how Joe and I both got started with the stuff we were doing, is package it up and sell a marketing kit for real estate agents is what I did, or for carpet cleaners is what Joe did. And that was that's a great business. But we're different right now than it was, 25 years ago when Joe and I were both starting our businesses, is that there's really, it's come to a point where it's almost less expensive for you to do it for people than it is to convince them to give you money to teach them how to do it themselves. Right. And that's, it seems so paradoxical, right? But the reality is that you know how to do it. So you could, I have complete confidence that you could go to Regina and drop yourself into Regina and be cleaning somebody's driveway this weekend if you wanted to, right? That's really, you've got the letter, you've got the method, you could, pick those homes and go and do it. So you could get up and running and start building a clientele right away, which is something that most exterior cleaners don't have. They're out knocking on doors, hoping to find somebody who they can convince to give them $69 to do it, or convince them to give them $275 or whatever the amount that they would charge to do the whole treatment for them. So when you look at it, that if this guy was saying that they would pay 20% for a job, there's kind of the it sets the benchmark for it, that would be, he's basically saying that it's worth $50 or $60 to get a new client for him. Right?
Yep.
Is essentially how that would work out. Now, if you got to where that you could, show them how to do that, where you can create, and this is something, I've been calling these like a scale-ready algorithm that involves some human automation, like how much of the execution of this would be require human interaction, like for you to go into Regina remotely, which is kind of the great opportunity that we have now, or into even the next town over from you, to prepare and mail a postcard that gets people to to sign up for their free driveway cleaning. That would be a very useful thing for the exterior cleaners, because they would, it's like part of the challenge when you start trying to duplicate something that you've done is that you have to overcome their inertia in a way, right? They have to do something to make that happen, right? But what we all know, if you look at it from our profit activator model, selecting a single target market, exterior cleaners, and thinking what would be a dream come true scenario for them, right? And so a dream come true for them would be that they get a call and somebody says, come over and clean my driveway. That would be a dream come true. They didn't have to do anything but go and do the driveway, right? They don't have to learn anything. They don't have to, do anything other than go and do the job. that would be pretty much what they would really like, right?
For sure.
Yeah. And so when you look at that, that creates the opportunity to do for them at scale what they would find it hard to do on their own, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been listening a lot to like what you've been going over the last while, really trying to think about this like easy button results in advance. And I've been working on it kind of like, I guess there's different levels to everything where, I mean, at the furthest out, I would pick the neighborhood, like do absolutely everything, pick the neighborhoods and stuff. I think like step down would be they fill out a form with the neighborhoods, and then after they're done a job, they just press a button, and then I get their information, so then I can hit all the neighbors with all the follow-up materials.
Exactly. You're on the right track. I mean, well, let's even think about it one other way. Like, what does it take to get into this business? Like, what would it be? How much does it cost to become an exterior cleaner? What do you need, kind of thing?
The cheapest you could do it is if you would start out by just renting. So you could buy probably, roughly, let's say $200 worth of equipment that's hard to rent. And then just rent the rest and buy as you go. You could get into it for probably under $500. And then if you wanted to buy outright, let's say under $3,000.
Okay. So for $3,000, you could get all the equipment that you need, which would be the pressure washer. How long, how much of a learning curve is there on getting good at it?
Not that much. Like,
right.
Obviously you kind of get just faster with time, but you can be pretty good. I'd say if you, like, I was thinking about this exact thing, like trying to say, okay, if a brand new guy, you say, okay, for $200, just buy these few things that you can't rent a machine, do like your parent or do your like family and like 2 other friends. You'll get 3 jobs under your belt and you'll feel pretty good after that. Take before and after pictures, maybe even get testimonials from them, insert them into the flyers, and you're ready to go, basically, to start.
Yeah. And is this the kind of thing that would be, is it a seasonal thing? Like you're doing it in the summer, basically? Or, I mean, you're in BC, right? Is that where you are?
Yeah, I'm in Vancouver, yeah.
Okay. So is this, you're a little different, but if you were in Regina, is this the kind of thing that you would do in the summer kind of thing?
Probably. My busy season is basically March until end of July.
Okay.
The busy, or even February, middle of February too. End of July. And usually there's a bit of a lull in August because people are away and stuff, and then September is kind of a bit weird, but then it picks up with gutters around this time of year and other things. But like if you were in Regina, you would just sub in a different service like snow removal, let's say, from
winter,
December on. Yeah.
I
mean, the homeowners always have certain stuff they need done in a way. So.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's the thing is once they've got a person there, you know, it's kind of an interesting thing. So when you look at, you know, the possibility of, you know, either building this out as a business or building it out as a franchise potentially, does that kind of, what's your aspiration with all of this? I mean, what would you like to see happen?
I keep going, kind of, like when I filled out the form there to be on here. Like, that's kind of my problem. Like, I keep going back and forth. Like, I don't think I want to sell it as a kit, because then it's kind of one-off and done, and it probably doesn't get very good compliance. On the far end would be like to almost be an Uber sort of thing, where you do everything and you get the jobs for them. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm more towards the Uber side of things, but part of me kind of says that's a little bit harder to execute just because of the margins, and like it's just a bit tighter and takes a bit more capital and stuff, versus making it a little bit more that maybe you get them started, like how you talk about, get them that win. So now they're playing with house money.
Right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
That you could get them a little bit of house money, and then after that, then they start paying in advance for the materials, let's say on a monthly basis, or like to mail out, let's say X amount per month or something.
Right. Exactly. And, you start to look at now building out, we've just talked about your before unit. So what you've got, a great way to start the relationship with somebody. We talked a little bit about the during unit, how to multiply those into additional jobs in the neighborhood and by referral. And then the after unit, the annual kind of relationship with the client, that recurring revenue that you can count on, is kind of a cool opportunity. I think that's really pretty, it fits, because it's really, once you've created the algorithm, it's something that would be, completely, the same in Vancouver as it is in Portland or in Denver or wherever. It's all the same. It's all the same psychology. It's all the same stuff. And here I am in Florida, just saying I need to get somebody to, pressure wash my office building and my driveway. Yeah. So there's, there's so much. It's like every household has a cool opportunity there, and I would really start thinking about potentially the relationship with the homeowner as the asset, like really thinking outside of the box of we're just pressure washers or whatever. Just like you said, there's so many things that go into exterior maintenance. I ran a painting company for a few summers with a friend when I was in college. Yeah. And, when we had, it was a franchise at the time, right? A College Pro Painters.
Right.
And that, we created another company called Name Droppers, and we hired college girls to go out in the evening and on the weekends in the spring to go and do surveys in neighborhoods where we were asking if people were planning on doing any home improvements over the summer. And we had they had clipboards with a form with a checkbox for, getting a new roof, new siding, new eaves, new windows, doors, driveway paving, driveway sealing, landscaping, deck, fence, pool, all the exterior home improvement projects that they could do. And so we were doing that and making a profit on our lead generation, because all we were looking for was people who wanted to do painting, right? And so when we'd find somebody who wanted to get a quote on a roof, we were selling those leads to, we had a little network where we had a a roofer and a fencer and a deck guy and driveway. So we were selling those leads to those businesses, and we turned our biggest kind of expense into a profit center. And
That's awesome.
So when you start thinking about the relationship with the client as kind of the peace of mind, like everything, all the exterior maintenance kind of things with somebody, there's a big opportunity there,
Yeah, and that's definitely something I haven't tapped into, but I've thought a lot about. And I mean, yeah, there's just so much in the after unit you could do there. Like I haven't really done too much in the way of like for your world's most interesting postcard would be perfect too. That you you could even have other services on there depending on the season.
That's exactly right. Yeah. That you start to think like all those people you're doing their things, a chimney sweep would be a good person to have in your Rolodex. It's almost like you've got that whole opportunity to kind of lead up that category and elect yourself to be the mayor of the category called exterior home maintenance. And that they've got that relationship, and you're looking at all of the things, because you don't do chimney sweeping, and you don't do roofing, and you don't do a lot of those things, right? But you're all looking for the same person, and a lot of those people that you've already got a relationship with. That this is where the thing really comes down to it, is that the asset that you're in the business of building is the trusted relationship with your clients for a particular category. How many clients do you have? How many clients do you have in your roster?
I'd say regular repeat is probably let's say around 500 that are pretty regular.
Yeah. And that's great, right? I mean, that's a nice thing. And that keeps you would you say that you've got a full practice kind of thing?
Kind of. That's why a lot of these things I don't do. Like I don't do free driveways as much anymore, just because I only have so many hours and I don't have to. I kind of just do blanket mailers to keep a little bit.
What stops you from hiring other people to do the same thing?
Well, one thing is just that I'm gonna have to move in the next little bit here. So that there's just that, but also in the past it's been.
But what a great thing is that if you were to build somebody, like there's part of the thing whenever you're doing this is to create something that can survive you, where if you're moving anyway, it'd be interesting for you to say, can I slide somebody else in here, but keep the business?
Yeah.
Like still maintain the business, that you've got an asset now that you could still kind of remotely run, Where are you moving? Are you going somewhere within Vancouver? Or are you moving far away?
I'm not. My fiance is a dentist in the military, or she's just finishing school, so who knows where we'll end up in Canada somewhere.
I mean, talk about what a great opportunity for military coming out of the military into a business like this, where you've got such a great opportunity for them. Kind of an interesting thing,
Yeah, I think it is a pretty good opportunity for a lot of people in a way. Like, I mean, it's similar to College Pro. It's pretty good for university.
Yeah.
Kind of graduates because it is kind of hard labor. I mean, it's easier the better your equipment is and stuff. It becomes a lot easier. But I mean, it's hard to do if you're not physically strong.
Like I'll tell you, one of the very first things that in high school my friend and I started a driveway sealing business. And that was, we didn't have the spray on equipment and stuff, and we would go door to door. We had flyers, we would do the thing, and we would, sell people on the idea that we used the brush on method, which was so much, better than the spray on method, because we didn't have the sprayers. So we would convince them that, most of these guys, they just come and spray it on, but we use the brush on method, which really gets it into the, really does a better sealing job. And I mean, that was hard. That's hard work, but it was something that, I've always had that kind of entrepreneurial spirit. That was one of the things that we would do is get that stuff. But, very, very funny. But yeah, that could be, it could create a franchise type of operation like that. I just, it's my favorite thing in the world is to think about, scale ready algorithms like that and to build little business units. But I'd be looking to see how quickly we could get you out of actually doing the pressure washing and get you into running a business that does the pressure washing,
Right. Yeah. I mean, in the past, the only thing I've kind of run into with the reason why I kind of like the subcontractor sort of model is that they have a little more skin in the game. Like I have had guys do work for me before, and I just ran into problems a little bit with them caring as much, and they just don't treat it the same way when they're not the face of it. They're not that's just the biggest problem I found with employees. I mean, with Uber, let's say that everyone has a review. So it's kind of dependent on you.
Yeah. It is, isn't it? And it's kind of, there's a more rapid kind of cycling on that, right? And somebody who's it's not like you're building a clientele like you're doing here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's all very, exciting. So tell me what's the thoughts that you've had since what we've been talking about here? What's the takeaway?
I think you helped cement for me to focus on probably the more done for you side of the scale, let's say, like the easy button side. Executing that is just going to be the thing that I kind of have to figure out if I go all the way. Like, I guess I'm struggling with whether it's like you have it all under your brand or you just do all the work for them and they all have these sub brands. And I mean, I think a lot of people,
so much of it is in the model,
Yeah.
So much of it is in the model, and that's where when you, that depends on how you set it all up, but it's not the magic of the brand or the name that's getting you the result. It's the offer. It's the offer, and that's the thing. I could make that same offer to people. So there's nothing. It's the brand system. Like I look at creating things like the way we do it with our real estate agents. It's kind of brand agnostic. It doesn't matter what company you're with or what real estate brand you are. This will plug in to your existing business is the way that I do it, but I could just as easily build, I could build an organization around it, could build my own brand with it because it's the system is what the value is,
Right. What's kind of your thought process like for your system, for example? I mean, you could be the guy mailing it out and generating leads for all the realtors and stuff. Yeah. What was your thinking with the?
Well, I've come full circle. Yeah, I've come full circle on that. So when you figure out something, I have higher aspirations for people than they often have for themselves. And I know what they could do. And so for years, I have been sharing this vision for people of what they could do, and they get all excited about it, and they want to do it, and they are inspired by it. But then they run into the reality, the logistics of it, and the fact that they're running their business and all the complexities, and that they don't know quite how to do something, and they don't do what they could do, you know? And that's always been kind of a frustration of mine, that I see it and I just see how they could do it if they would just, just execute, but they don't. And it's like, I heard Mike Tyson once say, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face,
Yeah.
And that's really how everybody's got this vision, but then they get back into their own business and reality sets in,
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
My thing, I have to go down to the level of what they will do, So I'm showing them what they could do. And then I have really found the thing that I can rely on the most is that level of what will they do. And I know that what real estate agents will do is they'll accept a phone call coming into their office from somebody who wants them to come over and help them sell their house. And they will accept a phone call from somebody who wants to get together with them so they can help them buy a house, right? And so I know that that's the level that they're completely happy to comply with. And I think that when we look at your guys in the same way, exterior cleaners, what they will do is they'll accept a phone call from somebody saying, can you come over and clean my driveway and give me a quote for the rest of my house or whatever.
Yeah. I think even a step forward is like when I was talking to the franchise guy, he's like, oh, the thing I love about the franchise is the systems and the fact that I don't have to answer the phone that much. So like he really valued the call center. So I'm like, well, they probably don't even want to answer the phone.
Right, exactly. They just want, and that's what we found with the mosquito guys is we just they want their dispatch sheet to show up and say, here's the houses that you're going to treat today. And so it's the same thing with your guys. If you can get to the dream come true for them of here's the list of people, and they just go out and do it, that's what they really want. And the good news is that, you just said it for $3,000, you could have somebody, you could duplicate yourself as the during unit in your own business first. That's what I would really, if that would be my takeaway for you, is that you've got this system, you've made it work for you, but you're an integral part of it right now. Like it's your charming personality and your way of winning people over and stuff like that. There's some X factor of that, right? But the true test of this now is to pick another neighborhood, a neighboring thing, have an opportunity to do what we call an N of one study, right? Like an experiment where you're going to see, can I set up a system that gets people to call and take their and schedule a free driveway cleaning? And can I send somebody out equipped with here's what to say, here's what to do, here's what to give them, like the materials that you have to show the before and afters and the describing the services that you offer, is can you train up one person to do that? And that becomes your scale ready algorithm then, right? Because if you could do it for one person, then it's the same thing to do it for 1,000 people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
Sure.
I'm very excited. I think this has been fun. I think you're on the right path there.
Yeah, you got me excited. This is great. I'm pumped.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for being on the show. I think anybody who's in that situation of thinking, I'd love to leverage what I've figured out here. This is going to be an inspiration for them.
Yeah. It was just really helpful for me clarifying like a lot of these ideas that I've heard you talk about, like the easy button results in advance and stuff like that. Like, I definitely have way more clarity on it now. Now you understand
kind of the psychology behind it, right? And you've got an experience of it. You know that more people will let you come and clean their driveway for free than when you charge them $69. So you've got an actual experience that's true. Mm-hmm. And they still turn into the $275 client at almost the same rate. So
even better in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So it's like, why not? That's kind of totally totally there. But your big opportunity is in the after unit too, expanding the relationship with people.
Awesome.
I love it. I've had fun, Peter.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you very much.
Thanks. I'll send you an email when we're up and running.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Have
Peter.
Have a good one. Take care.
You too. And there we have it. Another episode of More Cheese, Less Whiskers. If you'd like to continue the conversation, you can go to morecheeselesswhiskers.com and download a copy of the More Cheese, Less Whiskers book. One of the cool things about this episode was the idea. We started out with, let's figure out how to duplicate what Peter had figured out in his business one time. See, even though you're going to ultimately scale to perhaps hundreds or thousands of people using the information that you have, the prototype that you have, you've still got to start with being able to duplicate it once. And once you can do that, once you've got something that you can, with your supervision, run and let it operate, create the result without you actually doing the work, that's your magic ticket. You've got what we call the scale ready algorithm, and you're ready to just add the rocket fuel and take it as big as you can imagine, whether it's licensing it to a handful of other people or using it as the basis to build a franchise organization or a big company around what you do. It's all the same. It's got to start with that scale ready algorithm. So I'm excited that I got to share that episode with you. If you've got something that you think would be a scale ready algorithm in the making, why don't you come on and let's be a guest on the show and we can talk about it some more. Just go to morecheeselesswhiskers.com and click on the Be a Guest link. And there's a space where you can tell me about your business and I can invite you to come on and we'll hatch some evil schemes for you. So enjoy your week, and I will be back next time with another great episode of More Cheese, Less Whiskers.